Greetings and salutations, Ben here. Welcome to Canucks with Guitars, presented by the people that were presented by that went by the ticker at the beginning of the show. I'm Ben. If you're new, please subscribe. If you're returning, hey, give us a like. We got Ben, Tom in the house. We got Terry in the house. It's the holiday hangover. We got rid of that holiday. There's another one to go. Yep, we're getting there. Last show of the year in 2021. You know, the whatever it takes year. What does it take? I don't know, 20, 21, whatever it takes. Sure. Got a story to tell. I was about to tell off air. I said, let's save it for the show. It was interesting. So, there goes Tom. Sure. Well, I'll do roll call. Let's get into that. We've got Billy Baloney, L&M Guitar. Sup, Martin. Michael Krause, the one and only Mark Taft, who I'll see tomorrow. Let's see. Martin Lemaire, Magic Man, Tinkerbell. Go back up this way. T. Ricky, John DeShane, Symmetry. Great hanging out last night. Doug Strong, Charles 75N, Randy Crooks, Matthew Stewart. Good to see Matthew in here. Mike Capsamalis, Tim Thomas, Mohogany, Warlag. Nice. Yeah, I said hi to all of you already. Did I say hi to other left?
Dan,
Here we go. We're getting back up to it. Garguts is here. Great to see Garguts in here. House of Wang.
Yes. Other left.
Dave Ennis is here. All right. I Rock Zed Blues in nice and early. He was first in there. Hit Metalworks. Dan of New Jersey. Corey's Garden.
Jeff K. Tim Thomas.
What's up, Jeff K? Where's the guy who I get to sing? He's not here yet. Fine. That's weird. Roll call without singing a name. I hope he's doing well. Roll me off. It's been 3 years. So yeah. Story time to start off the show? Why not? Terry was saying he finally took my advice and he checked out the Vice Grip Garage channel. Hope you do, folks. He's got over 1 million subs, and he plays guitar. I saw a video once, Tom. He had a Marshall MG half stack in the back with a guitar, and I can't remember what guitar he had at the time, but he had a Marshall, so he can't be all bad. Anywho's it's. Hey, Keith. No, it's Monday. Mark Effects. So Terry was saying he was checking out, and we're talking about this AMC Rebel he recently bought, a 69, I believe. What's up, JP Page? 2. And I said, yeah, I had a 67 at one. I think it was a 67 Rambler, the predecessor, same thing. Mayhem knows.
Absolute.
It had and Janice is here. It had a straight 6 in it, and I was bombing around the back. I'd say the back 40, except it was 4, so the back 4. And
hey, Janice,
I kind of cooked. I cooked the transmission, so it only had reverse. And buddy mine, Richie, not that Richie, different Richie. It's always been the Richie in my life. Yep. Rich that came over and helped me out with Dad's car a couple months ago to get it ready for winter. Same one. He agreed to buy the car. And I think it was upwards of $50 I charged him for it. But I had to deliver it. I didn't have a trailer. I didn't have a truck, Tom. What I had was my 80 Z28 and a tow bar. So, Rich being more mechanically inclined than myself, he kind of looked at the car and he put some air in the tires, and they were kind of holding air. Old bias ply, very weather checked, right? But they seemed to hold enough air to get them a few towns over. Let's say 15, maybe 20-mile trip, because we're going to go up and across and back, and we're avoiding the major roads for obvious reasons, right? So he agreed that because it had a similar steering box to a Ford, and by that is when you flat toe a Ford from a certain vintage, if you turn too tight a radius, all of a sudden the steering will go full lock. So you really need someone riding in the car to just make sure the wheel stays straight.
Yeah.
And sometimes help with the braking. Because let's be honest, I had the rear brakes backed off a little bit on the Camaro so I could do brake torques because they're cool, right? So Rich agreed to ride the back again, probably illegal. I'm sure, right? So we think, but just in case, if the tow bar comes off, we got steering. So he said to me, okay, there's one thing. He goes, keep it under 70 kilometers an hour, not miles. So 70 clicks, I don't know, what's that, 45, 50 miles an hour? He's like, keep it. Apparently Mayhem says it is illegal. Well, there we are. What do we know? We're dumb teenagers.
Illegal.
Keep it. He's like, whatever, try for 60, but definitely keep it under 70, because even though we're going in several 80 zones, because we're taking country roads. And I said, I don't know about that. But we'll try. I said, well, I'll feel it. If I feel it starting to not want to wander or start to wander, fine. We'll keep. I've towed enough trailers. I know. Like shaky homemade trailers, that is. So they like a sweet spot in the speed department. So we decide to take off. I'm driving my car. Rich is in the tow vehicle, and our buddy Dale is driving Rich's car because he decided on the spot to buy the car. Of course, hanging out at my place one day, which was he had an '82 Oldsmobile Cutlass 4-door. Okay, with the 3.8 liter gutless V6. Right, just a terrible motor. So you guys know we're at the old place I was at. I was just outside of town, so we started heading north towards Woolard through an 80 zone, and okay, I'm doing 70. Feels fine. We'll sneak up to 75. It's fine. All right, we get up to Woolard, hang a left. We're going over to Codrington. Now that road, Tom, there's a lot of hills, but it's straight as an arrow, right? And we get to a spot where it's a good half-mile stretch of just straight flat. So I'm without even thinking, I'm like, I go a little faster, a little faster, a little faster. So Dale decides he doesn't want to follow us because there's crap falling off the tow vehicle, rust, probably car parts, who knows, grass, Apparently some smoke. I didn't know that. Probably the wheel cylinders that haven't been serviced, wheel bearings overheating, some butt cheeks. So he decides to pass us, and I'm like, no, you're not. No, you're not. Because, being a teenager and driving a Camaro, I want to show I have enough power, Tom. I'm going to hold him off. So I let him when his front bumper got up to my door, I fed her all the onions, as Derek would say. I fed all the onions into her, Terry. Put her into passing gear, and we start taking off. So we get up to about 110 kilometers an hour, which is about 65, 68 miles an hour. Remember, I'm towing another vehicle. Flat towing. So Rich in the tow vehicle, meanwhile, as this is happening, because he's seeing it happening, he's going, no, that's my car, and this is not good. And he feels speed up, and he's no, because the wheel cylinders, again, really started smoking at that point. So he decided to get involved in the conversation. And since there's no cell phones, he decided he was going to hit the brakes. Which you would think I would feel, no. Because it's 4-wheel drum brakes. All they did was heat up and get hot. And then he started smoking too, to help with the wheel bearings. And did I mention there's a hole in the floor? Because we had to do repairs and get up transmission. So the car's filling up with smoke, and he puts the window down, and he's screaming, slow the fuck down. And I didn't. So I get up to... So Dale pulls back in behind us, and that's fine. That's fine, Tom. So, we get up to the stop sign a few miles down the road. We're into Codrington, or just south of Orland proper. Nobody's getting these references because it's all little hamlets, right? Because out in the country. So I there's some traffic. So I was like, all right, come to a stop, throw in the left blinker, waiting to turn to head south. What's up, Joe? Next thing you know, there's on my freaking window, Rich. Because as soon as we stop, he's like, oh, hell no. He puts it in park, and he gets out, and he's just... And I swear I can see the steam. He's like, I told you to keep it under 70. I was like, so what are you saying? I said, I didn't feel anything. He says, well, I sure as hell did. The car's vibrating and smoking. And And all he could think is, this thing's going to fall apart. Chances are the front bumper is going to rip off this vehicle that he's in, and he's going to have no brakes, minimal steering.
Skidding down the road.
And just going down the road doing 50 to 60 miles an hour. And
sparks flying everywhere.
Yeah, and hoping, you don't need to stop, because you're not, unless you throw it into park. Which, then you're committed to stopping once you throw it into park, is what I'm saying. Because that's just going to lock up just the rear wheels.
Yeah.
And then, so... Hey, but we loosened up the wheel bearings. That's the way I saw it. Glass half full. They were... Yeah. We tested the brakes.
If there was anything that was slightly loose, you now have it verified.
I think it was the brakes. I think he only popped 3 of the 4 brake lines, so there was brakes on 1 wheel. So it just wanted to do it just locked, because the other ones aren't doing anything. So it's just no. Yeah, he was not impressed. Is what I'm saying. So then the car sat in his yard for a few years after he stripped some parts off of it, and then he sold it to another guy that had one that he was rebuilding. So it's been around. Yep. So that's 12 minutes into the show. Story nothing about guitars. Yep. Welcome, everybody. We've got 47 people watching. Probably had much more dip in and out during that story. Live Q&A show. You got the Q's, I got the A's.
Like House of Twang said, the nice thing about wheel bearings, as they turn molten, they get smooth.
Exactly. That's the way I see it. Once they liquefy, what's the problem? What's up, Vin RJ? Now, once you park it, they might not move again, because you're pretty much welding them into place at that point.
We had someone comment here. Let me just try to scroll up and see it again. Maybe I've scrolled too far. Yeah, I think I did. Somebody from...
John DeShane got a revival drive compact for a screaming deal by starting low. Nice.
Jeff Podester.
All the time,
Hi,
Tank.
guys.
All the
Great
time.
From Edmonton, Iceland. LOL. And I was just going to say, did you see Pete Thorne yesterday?
Okay, Milt would have got all those references in this. Milt, after we're done, watch the first 10 minutes. I talked about the time I sold the Rambler to Rich Mutton. We delivered it home. Yeah. He knows all the people in that story.
Tinker, that's actually what we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
I said Ben had mentioned it before, and I finally watched about 5 or 6 episodes the other day. And it was just like, oh my God.
I still would have, Terry, he so would have been part of my high school crew. Guaranteed. Like to the point when we were working on Dad's car, Ray said, he's like, so you doing YouTube? Yep. He's like, he looks at me and goes, you ever watch Vice Grip Garage? I'm like, love Vice Grip Garage. He goes, he's awesome. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, that's us. He's like, yeah, that's us. Like, the first year we had the stock car team, Milt was on the team. Milt T was part of the team. We flat towed with a tow rope to the racetrack, guys. Which meant, Tom, the stock car actually does all the braking when you tow it with a rope due to slack, and so that meant the stock car had to be running. Just you're like a road like this, going by. It was just idling. The tow vehicle was a '69 Torino station wagon, aka the Clark Griswold Special Country Squire, complete with wood paneling. If you drove that thing more than 70 kilometers an hour, the hood would fly open. That was fun. Had a bent rear axle, so under braking, it chattered. Only 3 of the 4 doors opened. Didn't really have any heat in the winter. And if you had heat in the winter, the wipers didn't really work. Or the headlights. You had a choice of the 3. You could use one of 3. But it had, under the hood, guys, a 351 Cleveland motor. So it had all the towing capacity to tow that stock car.
Cool.
Oh, that's true, Mark. That's happened. Yeah, I've scared Mark multiple times in that car.
Bad guy in a wheel.
Well, I'm thinking he's thinking of the time I picked him up right after I put it on the road for the first time one spring because I didn't drive it in the winter, Tom, and I forgot to check the brakes, really. And so we were tooling along, doing about 75 miles an hour, and then I realized we're hitting like a 35 zone, so I should probably slow down. So when I hit the brakes, one of them locked.
Oh.
It was the left rear locked, which sent us into a skid. And he says, he kind of yelled, "What the fuck?" And I said, "Don't worry about it." And then it was all good. I fixed it. We worked. We may have been in the oncoming lane for a period of time in a four-wheel skid. Maybe not.
So I guess that means Tink has fixed a lot of combobulators.
David says they're 12 minutes. I'll never get back. Totally worth it. Well, there we are. Who owns a winter beater? Who doesn't? Anybody in cold climate. You always had a winter beater. Usually, growing up, it was a Chevrolet Chevette, Tom, and you always bought them in pairs. You could always buy a pair of them for $400 to $600.
That way you get spare parts.
The guy always included a parts card because you were buying his winter beater from the previous year.
Makes sense.
And when I hung out with car guys in high school, it was amazing how many guys had more than one car even by the end of high school.
Yeah. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Like, literally, you had your summer car and your winter beater. Like, or I remember, because I didn't drive in the winter, because I didn't have a winter beater, so I just didn't drive in the winter. Thanks, Dan.
Yeah, Ben would fit right in Jersey, I agree.
Or you could have the four-wheel drive pickup, which was a year-rounder.
Honda Civic.
Yep, exactly. See, symmetry. You can tell. Fellow Canuck. Yep. You'd buy a Honda Civic and you only put snow tires on the front. Because they're the only ones that mattered. Because then it would drive like a rear-wheel drive car. It would still drift a bit. A Corvair. Ooh.
Ben, I was reminded why going to the airport in Philly today, why the city of brotherly love is kind of a misnomer for Philly. This guy was freaking out on like a young girl, like a teenager, who was trying to make like cheesesteaks, but she didn't have what she needed right there. And this grown man, probably like in his mid-50s, is flipping out on her. And I'm just sitting there going like, dude, like what went wrong with your life?
Oh, that was a luxury car, John. John had the Datsun 510.
I don't know how to do it. My manager will be here in 10 minutes. He's like, I don't have 10 minutes. It's like, dude.
Hey, Craig T. Tomlinson. Yeah, I was going to say the Datsun 510. That seems a little nice. I think my buddy Dale had a Datsun 210. Like, it was the base model. And again, he bought a Camaro once. It was so chunked out, Terry. It was, I think he paid $300 for it.
Oh.
It was rough, but it was like the floor was okay, but it was like the wheel wells were shot. I remember there was like a big rust hole right like next to one of the windows type thing. You're like, that's odd. T-top leaked like a son of a gun. Paid $300 for it, and we still drove the hell out of it for like 2 or 3 years because it was his winter car, and he would just park it each summer, and he had a nice version, and that was the funny part because it was like a before and after, because he had a fully done one for the summer for a couple of years, and then in the winter he drove this piece of crap one. And, we drove the crap one. Hey, Scott.
Yeah, it's actually funny because Datsun was the biggest import brand that came into North America that was successful.
At what time?
Yeah.
At what time?
I think that was the 70s that they had came in.
They came. I was going to say because they were one of the first, but by the 80s, Honda has taken them big time. Yeah, the Datsun / Mazda brand, which I believe is now owned by Ford. Back to guitar talk. Anything? Well, Keith bought a Gran Torino once. Nice.
Did it come with
what,
Clint
351?
Eastwood? Yeah, actually, there's been an interesting conversation going on in the side chat I've viewed. The discussion on what is a low-balling offer, and the subject was whoever it was made an offer on a orange dual terror, and the guy was wanting 5, and he gave him an offer of 400, and he wasn't sure. He didn't think that he was lowballing the guy, but the guy apparently had a fit.
Sorry, what? So what was the price and what was the offer?
What the guy was looking for was 500.
Yeah.
The offer that the person...
off.
Sorry, Tiny Terror. Magic Man was the...
He was looking for 20% off his asking price.
Yeah, I was going to say, kind of anything more than 15% below asking is kind of lowballing, I'd say.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it depends, though. It depends. Like, if it's priced, like, overpriced, then 20% is not lowballing. You know, like, if it's retails for 7 and they're asking, you know, $6.75, no, you offer 5.
Yeah, the funny thing is...
But
I think
if he had that already priced at 5 and you're asking 4 and you know they're going for 5 all day long, then you are lowballing.
Yeah,
but I'll look what they're going for, like on and
like it. You know, if a guy's asking fair price to begin with,
because you get
I
people
think anything below 15 might be lowballing.
Especially with vintage gear like rack gear and stuff, people have lost their damn mind. So if they're listing a vintage delay. Rack delay like a PCM 42 for like $1,400-$1,500, it's not worth that. It's not even worth half that. So I'm gonna offer them like $300 or $400, and if they come back to me and they're pissed off, I don't care because they've way overvalued.
Yeah, that's different. Yeah,
but
because you're adjusting for market value. But yeah, I don't know.
If it's a current item like that, I would just look what the most recent one sold for and probably offer them within 10 or 15% of that.
Yeah. Broccoli asks, he has a question for us. I need a tube amp that's Marshall-y for under 400, new or used. Well, definitely used because you're not getting anything new under 400.
It's got to be used.
Origin 20.
Can you get that for 400, Terry?
Yeah.
Can you get one used for that price?
Probably under 400 used.
Oh
new, they're only like around 400.
That's probably your best deal for that price.
Well, there we go.
It sounds really good, and I don't know how they're doing it for that price. Labor must be so cheap there.
Well, it's China. It's Chinese produced.
What's up, Doug?
But it sounds, I don't know how for that price they can, because I've heard those and they sound great.
Yeah.
I just don't know how they're doing it. You know what I mean?
Michael Cresco, I shouldn't ask $1,000 for my Elisa's quadriverb. Well, if you find a buyer, let them know you contact me for another one.
Symmetry, I would agree. Like, I like those DSLs, but then you got to have a cabinet too, so you might be over the price he's looking to spend. That was my own.
It's funny. I was having a big conversation with Richie, modern day Richie, not old school Richie, about the DSL because he's got a DSL something or other. I don't know, 40. Do they make a 40? Maybe.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
I think he's running one of them into a.
I was just going to say
it's a 1 or 212 cab. I can't remember. Maybe a 112. I don't know. But he's finally got it kind of dialed in because he picked up a new clone.
You need a little pedal in front of those.
But yeah, it was funny. We were both talking about it. They're a little tricky to dial in.
Do you need
for whatever reason? I don't know what is it.
Well, that's
Scott asked if there's an Origin 20 combo.
Yes.
Terry's nodding emphatically yes. There we are.
I think that's the advantage of the Origin. You can just plug straight in. I know those DSLs, you can get a good sound from them, but I've always seen people use, Tube Screamer or like an overdrive or something in the front. Just something to color it a little bit, I
was just thinking, I don't know if Rich sent me a photo of that new clone he got.
It's actually funny that Scott asked that because on the local Kijiji, there is a Origin 20 combo up for sale.
I don't know if this will come up on camera, but these guys are cheeky, Tom. And I mean cheeky because they even called it the Centaur, and they even went as far as putting the TM next to it.
Oh, man.
So, yeah. They're yeah. It was pretty blatant. I'm just saying. Well, there's a photo of it. Like they're really not caring. Not even a little.
Wow.
You can tell it's a fake because the chest isn't defined.
Yeah,
And he's holding a twig. He's holding a toothpick, sorry.
Still, they're like they don't even care.
Yeah.
And the funny part is, he's like, it's a really good quote. Like, it's really agreeable with his setup. Keith has a question for you, Tom.
Does it say PRS? Neck is a shade loose. Oh.
If it's a set neck and it's loose at all, that
You got to take it to someone that works on set neck guitars, man. I wouldn't mess around. That's
the
That's-
old school of just putting a
immediate
screw
reaction.
or a bolt. That's the stuff that memes are made of.
Yeah, that's not a bolt neck. I mean, sorry, that's not a bolt neck kind of thing, like an easy fix. I'm sorry to say. I
Yeah.
would take it to someone that works.
That's a
on
neck reset.
Yeah, getting back to the Tiny Terror thing, Ike has a Dark Terror in his used section right now for $550. So, Buddy wanting $500 for a Tiny Terror, I think, is actually maybe a little too much to begin with. So, I think even
Mike's asking $550. No, it's $500's worth it. How much difference between the dark and the regular? Except one's
effects
darker.
loop, another stage gain.
Is there another stage gain on the dark?
Yes.
I think the dark is just darker, isn't it?
Nope.
Oh.
Dark is what Jim Root's signature amp is based off of. The only difference is the Jim Root version has a further stage. If I remember, Tiny Terror has like
The Slipknot stage.
The Tiny Terror itself has like 3 gain stages. The Dark Terror adds a 4th gain stage, and then the Jim Root version of the Dark Terror actually adds a 5th stage of gain.
What's up, Guitar Man 45? Well, you could do that too, Scott.
Scott,
Well, you just need to buy like a blowed up one or something. I don't know.
wouldn't it be cheaper just to go buy Transformers that are better than what you're going to get in a 900 for less money?
Yeah.
Oh, I want to, while I think of it, thank
Plus,
the
900s are
patrons.
really-
Oh,
Since
okay.
we're at the bottom of the hour.
Magic Man has clarified it's actually a combo.
Well, there we are.
Okay, then if it's a combo, then
Oh, definitely.
you can definitely say the 500 then.
Oh, yeah. Hey, Eddie. Great to see Eddie Van Haskell in the house. All right, so banners. You can become a patron at that address down below and get your name right off. Starting at the top this week, Guitar Man 45. See, I've thought because I saw him in the chat. Symmetry, Paul McNary, Mickey Settlemeyer, Joe C, Keith H, Knucklehead Zero, unfucking believable. Hope he's doing well. Haven't seen him in a couple of days. Charles 75N. I have seen him in a couple of days. John ZD351. Great to see John. I saw him somewhere. GP Page 2, saw him in the chat. Fruitcake Tony, he's around. Ben Tom, right over there. Blackjack Guitar. I think I saw him in the chat tonight. No, last night for sure. Maybe tonight. Grumpy Mike Guitar, haven't seen him in the chat. Craig T. Thompson, saw him in the chat. Cousin Todd Flowers, recently married Cousin Todd Flowers.
Yep.
Congrats. Charles Green, Brad Guitar Miller, Absolute Mayhem. Other left, Randy Crooks, Mahogany.
Okay.
Question for the panel. What? Sorry. What is your preference in the metal used when changing frets? What do you mean, like preferred fret material?
Yeah, I think that's what Mark means.
Depends on the wood.
It's not like we can morph and we have like liquid metal bodies that we can morph into things and turn our hands into mini hammers and
If the guitar is not overly bright, I would definitely go with stainless frets. Is that way it's one and done? Okay, Mark said yes. So yeah, I would go with stainless just so they're one and done. But I have no problem with nickel frets.
Exactly what Ben said. If it's my choice, I get the stainless. But if it already has nickel silver frets, I have no issue. I mean,
you'll just switch them to stainless if and when you need to replace those frets.
Yeah, I'd have to say, like, going over the couple fret jobs I've done.
Well, yeah, Terry agrees with Eddie. He prefers coat hangers for fret metal.
That would be an Evo fret coat hanger. But given that the price difference between a set of frets, uncut frets or raw fret material, is anywhere between $20 to $30, again, depends on your budget and what you're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
And again, further, if you're using like a set of strings like cobalts or something.
Well, I like to say budget because too, if you have you can talk to Ursula while I answer this. If you unless you have diamond, diamond tip files type thing, diamond coated. You're gonna have a hard time working with stainless. Stainless will eat up standard files because stainless is harder than your steel files. Because stainless steel is harder than steel, I guess.
Yeah, and I've worked with both, and the last set of frets I bought were the Duncan pre-cuts, and they weren't stainless; they were just regular nickel. A lot easier to work with, a lot compared to stainless steel.
Yeah.
I don't know about Evo, though. Big D Guitars said recently he was trying to put some Evo frets on a Gretsch, and he said they were flaking. I was like, that doesn't sound right for a set of Evo frets.
The only time I had flaking was on my Strat, and that was because there was so much clear lacquer or poly, whatever, all on the frets, because I swear they did the fret level and then did the final coat. Because it was all up. I was picking that stuff off for like a year or two. I remember picking off frets.
That's interesting what BC Rich says there.
Tungsten carbide files for shaping plain stainless frets. Well, diamond frets or diamond files. Hey, my knees hurt.
My knees hurt. BC Rich was saying that Steve Morris had Ernie Ball make him a prototype of ceramic frets. But then eventually didn't like them because they were too bright. And hard on strings as well. It's interesting.
Titanium frets.
Titanium frets?
Tungsten frets. So your guitar is so much neck dive because tungsten's so dense. You're like, oh, who knew? Who knew?
Frets though, they're super smooth, Yeah,
you definitely wouldn't.
They look cool,
put that.
but because it would look like roasted frets, kind of thing, right? Because they do have that darker hue to the tungsten steel. Oh, that'd be interesting.
Or thinking about the metalworking, like from the bit of watching the one show on history, Forged in Fire, Damascus
steel,
Damascus pattern and stuff like that. That would look interesting on a guitar.
Damascus frets.
Magic Man finally bought himself a proper big boy pedal board today. Congrats.
Nice.
Eddie likes the tall frets, so he used his horseshoes. Sure.
These old horse bits for frets. Diamond frets. Ooh, that would be pricey. Very pricey. Diamond frets.
No, pricey would be gold frets because you'd have to replace them after every gig because it'd be dented, be all to hell.
Yep.
Yeah, true.
Just like the money you're shaving away when you're crowning a gold fret. It's like they're going $5, $5, $10.
You can save it all and melt it back down, though.
Hey, Jeff.
Like I said, John Deshane has the right idea. Fritz made with real Saskatchewan sealskin binding.
That's a question for Tom. What's the difference tone-wise between a 16 ohm and 8 ohm speaker? Assuming they're the same otherwise, Tom.
Hope you're feeling better,
Is there a tonal difference?
You're getting into minutia that I don't think you're going to be able to tell.
Well, because I'm thinking too, if you're doing a single speaker, correct me if I'm wrong, a 16 ohm speaker would be plugging into a traditional, like a Marshall 16 ohm head.
Yeah.
An 8 ohm, you'd be going into an 8 ohm head, which is designed for 8 ohms, so they probably would sound the same. But now, I suppose that the same speaker going to the same head, I would think higher ohm would put more of a load on the head.
Well, you want to match either way, but it depends.
I don't know. Yeah.
I buy 8 versus 16 not for sound, but how they're going to be in the cabinet. Are you wiring the cabinet in parallel, or are you wiring it in series? I don't recommend wiring a cabinet these days in series. You're running a loud, heavy, 100 watt, 50, 100 watt amp, because one of those speakers blows and you run them in series, you're dead in the water. But anyway, go ahead, Terry.
Sorry. I was going to say, when I had the Hotone Purple Wind little nano amp thing, I had my PV Viper Tube 60. I had that as the cab for it, and that was a 16 ohm speaker. Yeah. And when I hooked that 2x12 Harley Benton cab I got into it, there was a big difference between 8 ohm with 2 speakers versus one 16 ohm speaker.
So so I can switch my setup in real time at 4, 8, 16 ohms in, 4, 8, 16 ohms out, and it's matched on my attenuator setup that I have. And I've played it for people, and no one has passed the test. You can't hear it. I've had other players come, friends of mine. No one's passed the test.
I'm just laughing at Doug. Doug got 2 new subs last night, folks. So if you want to beat like those 2 cool kids, go and subscribe to Down and Back with Corn Doug, and he'll personally thank you in my next chat.
So I think getting ohms for sound is a load of horse shit. Just my personal opinion, but no one's passed the test yet.
Well, it definitely drives the amp harder, has the twang. Lower ohms, because you just
4 friends of mine come and they couldn't tell the difference. Now, if you're doing it to, if you're offsetting ohmage to drive it harder, that's a different thing. But when you're properly matching 8 to 8 ohms, 16 to 16 ohms, no one can tell the difference. And if you're running an amp full out, I wouldn't mismatch. Better to run it straight up, like my old Marshall. I run it at 100 watts. I run it on 10.
As if I didn't know.
And I can run it on 10 for hours like that. I don't have any problems. But
well, good. Apparently, breaking news: Doug is allowed out of isolation. He's officially over COVID, so he's going out.
but
remember, Doug, we're limited to 10 people gatherings. Oh wait, you don't know 10. You don't have 10 friends, so don't worry about it. You'll be fine.
Like Magic Man was saying, I mean, I default to 16 ohm if I can, but you guys might have better ears than me. I can't hear a difference, and like I said, testing it with several friends, and no one passed the test. They couldn't hear it. In the room, they couldn't hear the difference. Blind test.
I mean,
because it's on the back.
I mean, so, otherwise, the extent of my view on it is well, you just match up ohm to ohm.
That's
ideally you want to match up. Ideally, there's a reason the amp's designed for a certain ohm rating output. You should match up.
Yeah,
I don't like messing around with that because I can never remember which is good and which is bad. And I look at Rich and he goes, "I can't remember either." Then he has to call his dad because, believe it or not, his dad was an electronics engineer for the military for a couple decades, so he knows stuff. And it's always because we'll be at a load-in or something, and it's just like, or you think about taking gear, we can never remember. So he's, damn it. He's like, yes, Dad. He's like, right. And there's some little rhyme that he taught him to remember it, and then we forget the rhyme every time. I didn't mean for that to rhyme.
Yeah, the reason I kind of brought that up is because that's kind of the only kind of downfall with solid state power sections, is that they're variable like that. You can run them at 16 or you can run them at 4. Any kind of speaker.
Yeah, they almost have like an internal switching or something. I don't know.
If you actually run an amplifier, like say a Marshall head at 8 ohms versus instead of 16 ohms, you're actually using half the windings. So that actually can be different sounds of the head itself theoretically, but like I said, in practice, no one's ever been able to tell me which is which. You know, and that's going 16 into 16, 8 into 8, you know.
Yeah, I'm only running 8 and 8 on my...
I mean, personally, here's my thought. Even if it sounds 5 or 10% better, it's not worth me risking my expensive equipment, because to me, anything over $100 is expensive, because I don't want to replace anything over $100 again, you know?
Yeah, well, that's just it, too.
To me, it's not worth risking the equipment to get a little bit better sound. I'd rather match it, like 8 into 8 or 16 to 16, or if it's an old Fender, 4 into 4, you know?
Ooh, wow, John.
That's Matt. See, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. And that's why, you know, because you'd be at a gig, Terry, and, you know, you play with a half stack, and you think you look pretty cool. And then, you know, you look on the bill, and you're like, oh, Terry's band's playing tonight. I'm like, oh, cool, you know. So I walk over, hey, Terry, how you doing? You're like, cool. You're like, hey, man, you know, like, we're sticking around, so do you want to use my cab too? And then you're like, oh, well, you know, full stack is always better than a half stack, at least visually. But then you start to, you're like, well, how can I? What kind of cab? What's your ohm rating? And then can I? Should I? And then I go to Rich, and then Rich calls his dad. That's how that works. You know how that works? Worst case, I would use as a dummy cab anyways.
Good enough for the girls I date.
Exactly, Magic Man. I am the exact same way. That's why I have several knowledgeable people on speed dial. Well, like, isn't everybody on speed dial your contacts list? Isn't that essentially everybody on speed dial? It doesn't take
pretty much.
Yeah. The funny thing about the jazz cabbage is it does not hinder my ability to do those kind of things. But like tomorrow, I'll be like, I don't remember 20 minutes of what we talked about. Like,
yeah.
But the technical stuff doesn't go away from me, which is, I guess, the good thing.
Or it's like, oh, now I forgot how to play guitar. Dang it. Everything about it, but I forgot how to play it. Hate it.
Wait, I have one of these things, but it sure is pretty, but I don't know what to do with it.
I had an argument with it. I got one of these guitarists has to go on the bench because it is not up to snuff and setup, because all of a sudden I'm like, hey, I did not forget how to play guitar, because I was really kicking some tail the other day. And all of a sudden I'm like, what? Why am I fighting? What are you saying? So the problem is, due to the jazz cabbage, Tom, I forgot which guitar it is. So I got to sit down.
Play each one. Yep.
Yeah. What's a good looper for a decent price? Outlaw Effects Lasso Looper. They're cheap. Mm-hmm. I've turned a few people onto them. I traded mine. What did I trade mine for? Boss Pound. I think that turned over.
The looper I like part of another pedal.
Hey, Anderson.
Like
hey, Steve.
If you just want to do delay and looping, I love the TC Electronics, the X4.
Yeah.
Because it has both, but if you don't need the delay, it's a lot.
I don't recommend the Ditto because Rich had one and he crushed it after about a year and a half. It just,
you know, the best thing though about the X4s though, they're not cheap, but they're built like a brick shit house. You cannot break those things. They're the only
Dwight Bailey.
Force steel, like you could drop that thing 4 feet and I'm good to go. You know?
I've never bonded with TC Electronics for whatever reason.
Steve Anderson, what's up?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, it really, the sky's the limit. It just depends on how much you want to spend.
Oh
If
yeah.
you want to spend it, you can get like like a 10 like looper that's like infinite loop and
Oh yeah.
yeah.
You want to spend a lot of money? You end up with a studio with an engineer that just keeps hitting replay and taping you automatically.
That's the best one, probably.
Yeah. Do it again. Yeah, or you just say to him, "Did you hear that part? Yeah, I want you to just record that part and then loop it." Okay. That's because it's his job to make sure it's precise.
And then
Now those loopers are very expensive, especially if working on with a tape looper, because then he's cutting tape just for a loop. That seems a lot of money for just a loop, but rock stars, is there anything they can't do?
There you go. Hessa Twain just said that there.
What do you say? Where?
Put my hands on a Nags for the first time. It was a Canair Tier 1.
Oh, can I?
Or can I, yeah.
That would make more sense. We're familiar with the Canais. Don't you have a Canai, Tom? Yeah. That's the single cut, isn't it? The Canai?
Yeah.
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 I have the Kenai Steve Stevens model.
Now they do it where it's like tier 1 is more the base, tier 2 is better, tier 3 is best. Is that how they do that?
For the
Or is it the
regular
other way around?
models, I don't know which one is which because mine is like an artist model. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
with all the
Because it throws me off because I don't know about you, Terry. When I hear tier 2, tier 3, I think crappier because I think of hockey.
I know tier
Yeah.
1 could be the
You're like,
best.
hey, yeah, I play on a tier 3 junior team. I'm like, hell, I could play for a junior.
Doug probably could play for a Tier 3 junior team.
I think
Actually,
you're
no,
right.
Doug legit could. Yeah,
I
Doug
think it's
wasn't
the
bad. So.
Mags.
We'll put it this
Yeah,
way:
tier
Doug was a
one
good enough goalie. He was still playing like last year.
Wow.
So I don't know how. I was like, how? Because
Oh,
you
there
know
you go.
me, my
Tier
joints
one
are
is the
shot.
top. So basically, it's the same guitar, it's just a prettier top.
Yeah.
So tier 1 is the top. Okay, well that makes sense. Okay, so they did it right. They did it like hockey. All right. Makes
Just
sense.
imagine if Gibson actually caught on to that and actually decided to do the same thing. Oh, you got an R9, but it's a Tier 3. Okay.
That's a Gibson USA studio.
Yeah, pretty much, right?
Oh,
Scott asked, "Have you guys seen the reverse Centaur?" No.
Yeah.
Does it sound crappier then? It disproves your tone instead of improves it. I don't. What
Yeah, that's what I was just going
I
to say.
don't
A
understand.
reverse centaur.
what does it do? Makes your tone a little cleaner. You know, because a Klon doesn't really have a lot of gain. So what does it do? Just cleans up your tone a little. Hey, Pizza Man.
Oh,
Yeah,
not
New York
100%
City pizza sucks.
That does not roll off the tongue. So I do acronyms. New York Pizza comes to mind. I don't know. I just always get tongue tied with his name.
I could go for some good pizza right now, but I don't think it's gonna happen.
Early game Team Ben versus Team Eddie. Oh dear Lord. Okay, first of all, the game has to be outside. You're allowed hockey jerseys, gloves, but you got to wear jeans.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Of course you have to wear jeans. You kidding me?
Oh, I remember playing hockey in jeans. Oh my god.
It's the Tukes with the pom poms versus the Tukes without the pom poms.
When you fall outside in a pair of jeans on some ice, man, you get that good brush burn.
Yeah. Actually, you're wearing a hockey jersey, but over that, you're wearing the standard black and red check flannel,
There you go.
Canadian tuxedo, winter edition.
No one likes the first Centaur it needs.
I don't even know what they're called, but we've all owned them.
Yeah, I always wanted to play ice hockey, but with my surgically
Nice.
repaired right ankle.
I like to hear it.
Not an option. I had a pond.
Not
Well,
a-
you saw at the old house. I had a pond right nearby there, and the house that was right on the corner, out at the main road. That like, those two dudes were there. Like, we'd get off the bus right there. We'd walk in the front door of the house, take off our boots, put down our school bags, roll on our skates, and then walk the 50 feet to the pond.
I don't know if this is shareable or should share this.
Full contact.
The reverse centaur.
No.
Scott.
Mark's been a goalie all his life. It shows. That's probably why he likes Doug so much. Oh, weird. Get some sleep, Martin. Seriously. Got to be fit for his birthday. Well, happy birthday, Martin.
Yeah, happy pre-birthday, Martin.
It's a great one. The Surrey dinner jacket. All right, I'm going to see if I type in Surrey dinner jacket if it comes up. I just yep. It does too. That is epic. All right. So we're going to have to show this then. Because, for those who don't know what the Surrey dinner... All right, hang on, Scott. I gotta show this off.
There it is. Surrey dinner.
There we go. Now that is the Surrey dinner jacket right there.
Oh,
There we go, boys. Tell me, Terry, have you ever owned one?
I think actually I have back in my youth.
You may have had the optional gray-blue combo as opposed to the black and red, but the standard black and red, that's your old school. Hello, Rock. No, I don't want to play the Rock's
That's like classic Mick Foley.
All right, did it open up the second tab there? Or not?
No.
Oh, it didn't. All right, well, never mind then. But yeah.
That's hilarious.
John has two in blue. Of course you do. Yeah, I need another one of them.
I need another beverage. Anyone else? I'm gonna go grab one. I'll be right back.
All right, you go do that. No, I'm still good.
Those were the known thing to wear before they actually invented.
Rico has one. I think my dad bought his, and then it shrunk, and then it became mine.
Oh God!
But it's like something you only wear for working around the yard in the winter.
Mm-hmm.
It's good for chopping wood in. No kidding, because you look like a freaking lumberjack.
Like I said, you could say they were the precursor to fleece jackets.
Oh yeah. Yeah, before there was your North Face and all.
Yeah.
Yeah, that fleecy stuff. It was flannel. Good old flannel. And before that, wool. They looked the same, but they were wool.
Yeah. Wear it over my house coat to go to the
Exactly.
Yeah. Corey's
great. In that case, you would just give it to the missus. Unless, of course, the missus is the same size as you, but then that's a whole conversation you don't want to have. You'd never give the missus something 2 sizes too small. Never do that. Trust me. Never, ever do that. Oh, I thought you were that size, honey. My mistake.
Yeah, you then need
Never
the hunter's
work.
cap and the rifle. And then you go outside and
Get your
see
hat
the
like you got with the old fold downs, the old awnings.
Yeah, and then when you see the neighbor, you say, "Shh, I'm hunting wabbits."
That's what you wear when you go to shovel the driveway and yell over the neighbor. How's it going, eh? Oh, it's going pretty good, eh? We got quite the dumping on, eh? Oh yeah, got to get her cleared out before the plow comes by.
Yep.
I think he was just wearing a plaid shirt, though, Mark. I don't think his was the jacket.
No, actually, his was a jacket.
Oh, was it?
Yeah. It's actually one of the things when they went for memorabilia to put into the WWE Hall of Fame. It's actually one of the things they went looking for was one of the original ones for.
My knees hurt. That is a PV Classic, now known as a PV Classic 50. But back then, it was just known as a PV Classic. It's from the 70s, 76, 77, 78. I don't know. Speakers have square magnets, so old. Tom knows speakers. If they got square magnets, they're old.
Oh yeah,
That's
definitely
the PV everyone wants. That's the OG PV.
Yeah.
It's not.
So it's up for sale if anybody wants it.
That's when they were making them rock solid.
So Guitar Man 45 asks, did anyone here try Dean Zielinski guitars? They keep emailing me to try one. They look good in picture and sound good in spec section.
I've heard. I don't think I've heard anything bad. I don't think I've heard anything good. Like it's like they're at a price point and they're worth that price point. I guess it's like an Ibanez. You buy your $500 Ibanez's is Ibanez. Sure.
Yeah.
You pick it up. You're not blown away, but you're not disappointed either. You're like, this is exactly what I'm expecting at this price, and that's what it is.
Yeah.
And I think that's what those guitars are.
To me, basically, the Dean Zielinskis are exactly what Dean did when he left DBZ/Diamond Guitars and Jeff took over the branding. And so Dean simply went off and said, well, I got my own patents, that I'd gotten while producing some of the Diamond stuff.
Hey, Randy.
So he just reproduced it. So it's... in the past, I've heard early models were kind of but otherwise, they really don't have enough exposure. Really, they're really kind of fit into one of those boutiqued kind of things.
They should always be priced at that.
Yeah, that's funny. Hey, Randy Upchurch.
Oh, right. Scott sent me a photo. That was 6 minutes ago.
That was what I was saying, probably.
I don't know.
I don't go hunting for rabbit or duck, but if anyone wants to send me any of
Oh,
them,
yeah.
I will take the spoils for sure.
Oh, okay. Well, that's appropriate, I guess.
Duck, I love duck. I like rabbit too.
I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it's not bad.
Oh,
The reverse centaur.
it's so messed up.
Yep. So that happened. What is the forecast supposed to be tomorrow? Oh, excuse me. That was a lot of gas.
Well, according to here, it would be probably continuation of snow.
Oh, no, it's starting at 1 in the morning. So it's leaving you and heading to me, Terry. It's going to get here at 1. And
All
that's
right,
continue.
Ben, there you go. There you go.
Yeah, but it's gone by 3 in the morning, and then we're going to be +2 by noon. In theory.
Well, I'll push it up over to
Oh,
you, Ben.
but there is a freezing drizzle advisory.
Yeah.
Rain. So Tom, that's like, it's raining, but it can freeze at any time. Anytime. You're like, oh, thanks. Yeah. Good.
You know what? When in doubt, blame Pete Thorne. He brought it from Edmonton.
I tried going out for a walk today, and I was freezing my ass off. Yeah, no kidding, Pete. It's December, and it's northern Alberta.
Yeah.
How cold those temperatures are, like, no way.
Well, you think, okay, you go to, like, the Dakotas, right? We're going to hop, skip across the border and drive for a couple hours. Oh, look, we're in Calgary. Okay. Now, guess what? We're going to drive for a couple hours north more. Oh, wait, are we in Edmonton? No, that's only Red Deer. We're going to drive another 2 hours to fucking Edmonton.
Yeah.
Who moves up there?
Well, I got a lot of family there. Well, that was because my aunt's married military men, and there's a base there. And that's where their last posting was. And I think they all kind of last posted there because they all kind of ended up there. There was like 2 military members and somebody that worked for a steel company, I want to say.
The largest mall in like North America.
Where I need Doug for that. Yeah, the West Edmonton Mall may still be the largest mall in North America.
I like what House of Twins.
For a while there, that mall had more submarines than the Canadian Navy. Just saying.
Oh,
Hey, Robot Master Switch.
That was a running joke because they had 4 and the Canadian Navy had 3. So there you are.
That's funny. House of Twang said at 9. My buddy said you have to lose a bet to go to Edmonton, and he lives in Calgary.
That's not as bad, Terry. A buddy of mine moved to Winnipeg at the end of January one year. The end of like January 28th, he moved to Winnipeg.
Oh
don't
my
break it
god.
in. Just take it on the face.
Well, the worst part was, Tom, he took the bus, and the bus station is at Portage in Maine, which is famous in a song called Portage in Maine by Randy Bachman and Neil Young. They decided to do a song together. And it is the windiest spot in Canada. It's like, and he he walked to the bus station, his toque immediately blew off. Gone. It was minus 40 with the wind chill. Which doesn't matter if I tell you Celsius, Fahrenheit, same thing. Doesn't matter. Minus 40. Minus
Look
40.
at Rico. Look at Rico wrote. Negative 51 yesterday.
In Rabbit Kettle, Northwest Territory.
Now, is that where you are, Rico? Good Lord.
God, if you're near there, God bless you.
That's
Well, you know, Metalhead Hippie, he's pretty north in Alaska.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Oh yeah,
it's
he is.
really the same thing, I would
Yeah.
imagine. Except Alaska, you still have some of that. Well, you get the lake effect a bit because I'm thinking the interior of the Northwest Territories.
Is there actually a Saskatchewan Coast Guard?
No.
Gretsch Zeppelin?
Hello, Zoran. Please stop making yourself sound stupid. Oh, that comes naturally. We're not trying.
He said no, Montreal. Okay, thank God.
Fair enough, Rico. Does anybody have any other guitar things? We'll go a few more minutes. We're into overtime here. Why not?
Yep.
It's the last of the year. That's why it's a little crazy. There's not a lot going on right now. What stuff going on? I got Simon Hosford coming on this Sunday. That'll be fun. He's a rock star. We can talk about rock star stuff. And then the next week's guest still hasn't got back to me. So, hey, there's Fruitcake Tony, right on time.
What's up, Tony?
Milt's got freezing rain / snow here for tomorrow. He's south. He's in the Windsor area. Where's that, Tom? South of Detroit. That's where the U.S. is north of Canada. You know, because it kind of curls around.
What's that?
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, looking north across the Detroit River to Detroit.
Calling for minuses, but cloudy apparently here.
Has anyone had a guitar built to their spec? What was the experience like? Yes.
No.
I had a guitar fully built to my spec at the time. Well,
Yeah, actually, pretty obviously you did.
with like the neck, like we didn't sit down and the neck didn't go back 10 times. I basically told him what I wanted in neck, and he got it pretty damn close. So that would be my signature guitar.
I was just going to say, why don't you show it off?
Why don't I? Oh, one of the sponsors of the show, Reno Fin Custom Guitars, out of beautiful Victoria, British Columbia, at least for now.
And who actually put up a video the other day.
Yes, he did. A whole day of it. Yeah, still got the strings. Because she came off the bench and she's been, she's not workable at the moment because we've been working on it. It's got a different pickup than when I got it, but that's evolution. I added the kill switch since then because I wasn't into kill switches when this was first designed. But other than that, Two P90s, 4-way switch, volume, tone, mahogany body, maple neck, stainless frets, because why not?
And a set of eye pokers.
Set of eye pokers like Tom Morello. American Fender bridge, modern bridge. The neck has been further sanded. It's much smoother now.
Nice.
It was raw, but I went up a couple sanding things. Actually, that's steel wool. No, that's been steel wool. A lot of steel wool. Because it gets a little grimy after a while, and I just clean it off with steel wool. So that just more.
That's called Janus, and that's actually super awesome. Brad Guitar Miller is going to be going to Texas Toast next year to build a guitar.
I've kind of burned through some of the stain. As you can see, it's intermittent now throughout like there and that spot there, which has always been there, which I don't care. And I lowered the nut a bit. The nut wasn't as low as I like, but Travis didn't understand until I handed him the 60, 70. It's like, dude, where's the nut? It's like flush with the fretboard. I'm like, yeah. He's like, you can't have a nut cut that low. I'm like, you can if you look at those frets. He's like, holy crap, there's no fret height. That's what I wanted. So, yeah. Other than that, yep. I dig it. Oh, it's got a bit of arm relief. I like that idea.
Yeah.
What's that? That was a chunk of solder. That's nice. Pick that up on the bench, did you? All right, fair enough. Oh, that was stupid. You have a chair on wheels. You could have just wheeled over. Gretchen Zeppelin's going to try a guitar telly kit from Solo next year. Nice. Shout out to Solo. Today and possibly tomorrow as well, they are doing a 10% off sale.
Yep.
Across the board. Hey, Ricky.
Yeah, Ricky.
Yeah, 10% off across the board. I saw that on Dave's World Fun Stuff video they put out today, which first time I wasn't going to say anything on air, but that's the first time he did a repair I didn't agree with. Well, the problem was it was a Charvel. Excuse me. And when you tried using the trem, the guy had replaced the Floyd Rose on it. The springs were hitting the underside of the route.
Oh, yeah.
So he removed a bunch of the body to clearance it. When I'm thinking all you had to do was shim the block or take out the 37 mil block and put a 42 mil block, a taller block in, would have done the same thing. So
you might not.
You can't undo once you remove that wood. You can't undo that.
No.
Yeah, Symmetry said you. Yeah, I didn't comment because I was like, oh, dude. Nobody bats 1,000, I guess, but yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome, Ricky.
That's awesome.
Tommy Iommi SG.
Nice.
Nice.
Rico, I think it was Rico asked, how many guitars do you have? All right, well, we'll go with the ones mostly in the room because I don't count ones that aren't playable at the moment. So that one over there doesn't count, so it's not on camera. So we should have what, 17? 17, including the bass. Oh, no, wait. 5, 10, yeah, 17. Because that one counts that empty spot. Then we got the cigar box guitar. So that's 18. Oh, then we got the Martin over there. That's 19. Stewart's not playable. Oh, it's a guitar. Tysko don't count all the wall hangers in the workshop. See, that's where it's weird, right, Terry? There's half a dozen wall hangers there on both walls. There's guitar. Now that I started shooting stuff from the other side that you guys have never seen in the shop, you're like, oh, there's guitars hanging on that wall too. Yeah, there is. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. What do we figure? 19, we'll figure, including the cigar box guitar and my basses and stuff. Acoustics. Yeah.
Sounds about right.
The double neck isn't playable, so I don't count that.
I love Warmer stuff as well. They make great stuff.
It's just so pricey.
Don't ask me how many pedals I have. Well, wait, I couldn't get because I'd have to start digging out stuff because they're stacked high and then deep in a few shelving units that are off camera. Terry, it would be like a milk crate full.
I can answer that for you, Ben. More than what I have, and less than what Flipside has. That's how many pedals you have.
Yep. Yep.
So that should clarify it, because I only got about like what you see over there on the floor, which is like about maybe 6 pedals, if that.
No. You get it was a reverb I sent you, not a compressor. I was thinking I sent you a compressor for some reason. I sent you a reverb.
No. Digiverb.
The Digiverb, right. Did I show off that tuner, Tom? You were lurking last night. Did you see this thing?
I don't know if you showed it tonight or if Tom's seen it last night.
The box is the size of that Boss half tuner. You know, that always on, Tom? That's what I thought.
Last night.
Yeah, this thing
looks like a little, almost like a bottle cap.
Oh, it's insane. Because it's like a little GoPro-y type thing. Like, for reference, here's a guitar pick. Just your standard guitar pick.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, Ricky, I got that put together a couple months ago.
So, hey, if it works, it works. I haven't tried it yet.
It was about 6 months ago.
Well,
we'll plug her in tomorrow.
If
Mark's still in the chat, he'll remind me tomorrow. Right, Mark? Right.
It's like I said, and that's the other thing, too. Technology has grown by leaps and bounds, so something that might have been a big, humongous chip that you might have used on a tuner is now something that's probably about the size of your thumbnail.
Well, even like think SD cards.
Enclosure.
SD cards were the size of postage stamps, and then they became the size of fingernails.
Yeah.
Right. Because that was something you're like, wow, that's pretty small, an SD card. And then, well, we can make it smaller, and then smaller.
Yeah. What? Micro SD? And it's got 3 times the capacity of what my SD card has? What the heck?
It has 10 times the capacity of some of my old computers? What? Is that old?
Oh, God. 5.25 floppy disk.
Somebody in here's got 100 pedals? Jeez Louise.
John DeShane.
I think I'm in the 50-60 range. I don't know.
Oh, God. My knees hurt.
Old school. You know, if you get out the old hole punch, you can make her a 2-sided disc.
Now we're starting to talk like laser discs.
I still have some 3.5 floppy disks. I have Doom. I have the original Doom game on 3.5.
I think I still have AOL 3.0. Free trial on me.
2 3.5 floppy disks to install.
Yeah, I wonder if those are still have any kind of value to them. One of those old AOL CDs.
Ricky, I think the people that finally, found those VHT pit bulls, because people love those, I don't think anyone's really selling them. And all the ones I see for sale, I think it's a wife or a girlfriend or someone on the other end saying, you need to sell some of your stuff. Because they always have them, like you said, they're always can't find them.
Yeah, that's a good question.
That's what I was just going to say, Doug's question. Yeah.
What is the idea behind going all one company? Surely there has to be another company that run at least one item better. I say that knowing Ben is all LPD pedals. Well, yeah, that's like, it's been, 30 years in the making, right? Where it's all top. Now, that's not, sure, I'd like to sit down with, Keeley's entire lineup and see if he can fulfill all my needs, because even Lawrence can't fulfill all my needs, because right now the title chorus is in fact bypassed on the all LPD pedal board because Johnny Highland's Phase 90 was what I was playing with last night. So yeah, but I don't know. Unfortunately, my tone's gone to cork sniffer territory. Otherwise, I could. I bet.
Yeah,
I almost have better luck with a Donner type company, because they do so many clones, or a Behringer, or what I mean, rather than a Boss, MXR, EHX.
Yeah, and the other thing too I was going to say is there's not a whole bunch of companies that offer a wide range enough of
Well, that
stuff.
yeah.
So like, I mean, if you're talking like that, Fender would be the one of the biggest companies that actually, you know, they're able to give you a guitar. They're actually able to give you an amp.
I already
They
know
do
my
have
company.
effects.
I know my company.
Who?
It ain't gonna be cheap though,
Who?
but it's gonna be good. Who do you think I'm going with? They got to make a Marshall style amp I like, but they also got to make a great guitar. But they also have to make good pedals. There's only really two.
Well, if
Oh,
we're going beyond
Friedman?
pedal, yeah, it would definitely be Friedman, perhaps.
Yeah.
But,
No,
sir,
it's either going to be Friedman or Sir, and I'm going Sir.
but
Friedman doesn't make enough variety for me in amps.
Tom, I want delay and reverb and chorus.
I know. Sir makes all those.
Do they?
Yes.
Oh fuck! Well, there we
They
are then.
make insane. Don't you remember that delay pedal? It's basically a digitally controlled deluxe memory man.
Oh,
It's got digital and I think it's digital and analog. The one Pete Thorne had. And then they have a whole bunch of pedals. They have, you know, boost pedals, distortion pedals, compressors, delay. That's the delay. I'm trying to think what else. What did they do? Yeah, they have a chorus. They have.
I think Rev just does amps in their
Yeah.
amps in pedal form.
So
That's
Rev
kind
just
of what they do.
does
Their amps and their
basic
amps in
amps.
pedal form.
Now, I did actually, when Tom mentioned that, I did think of another brand that actually does offer almost to the same range as what Fender does. Supra.
I don't know if you're
Supra has guitars, Supra has amps, Supra
And
has
pedals.
pedals.
That's true. That's recent. And Fender, their new pedals are a lot better than their old pedals. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know if I could do a whole pedal board with their stuff. I have to sit down with all of them. Like, they weren't bad, but I wasn't exactly blown away either. So, yeah. And Friedman basically just does dirt boxes.
Yeah.
Which is
And the
fine.
wah.
In the wah.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
But I don't use a wah. I need a phaser, though. If you don't make a phaser, you're no friend of mine.
Yeah,
I
and
kid
that's
Lawrence,
just
who
it.
may be lurking. I love you.
Yeah, and with Supra, they also have Pigtronics, so the Pigtronics background with some of the effects as well, too, in that regard. But under the Supra branding
Right.
itself, you know, you can almost get any effect that you want or
Okay.
need.
So Sir has a bunch of drive pedals, boost pedals, blah, blah, blah. They have a fuzz. They have a compressor. They have a tremolo, a chorus pedal. They have that delay pedal. That might be it.
Chris, Dan Electro. I said it.
Dual channel. I think it's dual mono.
It's all overpriced crap. God, their effects suck for the most part. Hey, Haas. God. Well, I'm just stuck. I'm just picturing
Hey,
myself
Simon.
stuck playing a Dane Electro, like an overpriced Dane Electro guitar through some shitbox amp that they may have released at one time with a bunch of fucking Fab Series pedals. Ugh. What's wrong,
That'd
man?
be-
Oh, sucks.
That'd be perfect for like grunge/garage style music.
Garage style, all right. Garage sale.
I thought you were going to say garbage can.
Your animals. Oh, I think I gotta get back to my sunglasses. Why does it say bubbles and bass on the side?
I don't know.
Maybe
Is that
you
where
like-
they give them free?
maybe you
'Cause
like
were the
bubbles and
100
bass.
I gotta scrape that B off. I'm sorry, but childish. I'm just way too childish.
What, make it say bubbly ass?
No, it's gonna say bubbles
Or
and ass.
bubble ass?
Bubbles and ass. You guys just carry on. I'm just gonna.
Excuse me. Oh, excuse me.
She'll be there soon.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think.
Michael Krause. All right, see you, Robot Master Switch.
Yeah.
Have a great
Hey,
one, man.
robot.
See a robot.
He's going to party rock and roll lifestyle. Hey, rock on.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Be careful. Hang on. He's going to be rock and roll. Be careful. And if you're not, name him after me. My name is
There you go.
Yeah, remember, double wrap.
Ricky, the one I have now is technically a metal panel super lead, but yeah, I still have the same 71 head.
Yes, Hitmo works. I think so. To wrap things up. Oh yeah, we'll go. I don't know till the bottom of the hour because I keep saying, "Oh, we'll go," and then we just kind of talk with no real agenda. I'm hoping at some point we'll pull out a nugget of information, and then not so much.
It's hard to get it the whole way off because when you etch it, it etches like white. Anyway.
We already covered that. Martial origin.
Yeah.
Apparently. Apparently.
You know, Ricky, I don't like the guy's politics, but I love the pedals and stuff. And that's one pedal I would pine for, but would not spend the money myself, is the tube Echoplex that he makes.
Mm.
But then I'd probably get it and be like, fuck this. Pissed off because I watched the Dan and Mick episode and they were like, yeah, it's gone down like 5 times trying to film this.
Tom's using it on stage, but he's got it under a black shroud.
And anyone who
No one makes reference to it at all. He does his rig rundown, and we're not talking about that. It's like, yeah, going into this, Tom will immediately stop filming if what's under there is referenced in any way, shape, or form. Okay, we just skip right over, gloss over.
Have you seen the guys that take old like 4-head cassettes and make their own? So that way it's really cheap because you just use old cassettes as the actual tape. And you just
see, that's what Terry's waiting for because he's sitting on a bunch of those.
Yeah.
I should have dug one up.
I checked out a cool band. I'd never heard of them before. Doing really cool stuff. Haim, I believe is the name of the band. Haim.
Sounds familiar.
It's 4 sisters. And they rock, Tom. They absolutely rock. They got a really cool 80s vibe to them.
Nice.
They all dress super 80s style, but not all 86. Like one looks like 82, another one 87. And they play a lot of vintage gear. Like the bass player, she's so cool. She was playing like a 70s P bass. You could tell because the headstock looked like it had been in a smoke-filled bar for 40 years. What's up, Islander Winder? Merry Christmas to you, man.
Oh, cool. I'll have to check it out.
Nice to see you.
I think it was Haim.
Yeah,
he sounds familiar. Or else you're thinking of Corey Haim.
Haim Sisters pop band. There we go.
Yeah, this is it. I see it. Yep. Ben, a quick glass sax break, perhaps. Lowell, Mark Taft.
And Rico Orich said, I had an Origin, couldn't stand the lack of gain. Well,
there you go.
Yeah, but that's because it's meant to be a clean platform.
Pedal platform. Yeah.
Yeah.
Terry, you know, I've had some things to say over the years regarding the SG as a guitar.
Standard guitar? You don't like
the standard guitar. Yeah. So the Haim sisters, one of them reminded me, she's playing an SG. Possibly the best SG tone I've ever heard.
Oh, really?
Really?
Like, excluding Angus, because Angus has wicked SG tone. And I know people say Tony Iommi. I'm not a big Tony Iommi tone, though. But she had, it was like this beefy, thick, like you would think more of a Les Paul tone, but coming out of SG, which is generally a little thinner sounding. And I was just like, holy crap. And because they were on the Joe Walsh pay-per-view that Richie and I had watched.
Oh, I want to watch that.
Oh, yeah.
It's 4 hours and 20-ish minutes in length. Performances by Haim, obviously Joe Walsh, Vince Gill, James Hetfield does one song. A lot of people do one song, and it's acoustic, and it's a cover tune.
Oh, jeez.
Yep, that happened. James Taylor, some Indian dudes, like playing zitars and stuff, like hardcore Indian dudes. It was cool. Who else? The Vince Gill song was beautiful. Willie Nelson playing with two of his kids. That was cool.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know his kids actually played music.
Playing his band, I think.
Oh, jeez.
Part-time. And they have their own band. I can't recall the name of the kids' band. It was really good. Jewel, Melissa Etheridge. It was funny because at the start it was like Melissa Etheridge, and then Jewel was just a little later. I'm like, what is this, the night of artists that Pete Thorne has backed up at one time or another?
Yeah.
Yo,
That's funny.
that would definitely be it.
It was really cool. And Joe shows off some of his guitars, and he plays a lot of different guitars in the shows.
Was you like, these are
Oh, and his band he's jamming with.
oil.
Holy crap!
Gosh.
So you got, obviously Joe on guitar. Waddy Wichell is playing guitar as well.
Damn.
He's got Leland on bass,
Yep.
because why not, right?
Skla.
And then you get over to the drum. Oh, I think there was a keyboard player. Don't know who it was. On drums, you got Ringo. And a drummer from the Heartbreakers.
I don't remember. Is it Ringo's keyboard player? Because
I believe it was from the Heartbreakers.
Yeah.
Excellent SG player. Well, I was talking SG tone, Mark, and I did not like Robbie Krieger's tone. Very thin sounding. But that was the time. Everybody had that thin, fuzzy kind of tone.
Yeah. Like Magic
Hey, Ian.
Man said, dirt trucks. Yeah, I mean, like, when you factor in, like, the evolution of pickups and how they are and everything else, something that could be seen as a thin and lifeless SG can be simply just turned around like crazy
Yeah.
with just a different set of pickups.
Yeah, and I love Derek Trucks for the fact that he's like, you watch his rig rundown, he's like, yeah, I played through a Fender Reverb, Super Reverb. Oh, yeah. And then when I have a lead break, I just kick in a second Fender Super Reverb. That's cool. Okay. He's like,
Ben, was it Greg Raleigh that plays with Ringo?
I can't remember.
More like Santana, Journey, like.
No. No, it was the Heartbreakers drummer, I do believe.
No, but I mean the keyboard player.
Oh, yeah. Tom, you're lucky I pay attention to the bass player. I don't care. You know, keyboard player. I don't know. Just play. They're all good.
I know, but
not once have I ever watched a live performance of any kind and went, wow, that keyboard player sucks. I've thought about that. Other members of bands, but never, like, even on a local level, I've never seen a shitty keyboard player. Because worst case, they know just hang back, go, like just open chords or whatever.
Yeah.
But once in a while, you run into, like, you'll just, like, I was watching the other day, it came up on my feed, and it was some Baptist church, and they just live streamed their, like, church things. And this must have been about a 17 or 18-year-old kid playing the organ, and I was like, holy shit, that kid just has a gift. He's just sitting there going, blah, blah, blah. Like, his groove was so hard. And he was like a teenager, like, he's not even a seasoned, I mean, he's probably been playing in church since he was, like, 6, but, oh, man, it was like, you could feel it in your chest, like and it wasn't what he was playing, it was how he was playing it. Like, sweat was pouring off him, and he's bam, 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 doing those stabs, it was just like, wow.
Mm-hmm.
When you can feel the intensity through the screen, like...
Yeah, these are, you can totally, he may be young, but he's probably checked out a lot of stuff like Dead, Allman, like open jam bands where you just get it in Chicago. Just like, like bands that are playing arrangements,
Yeah.
Yeah, Rosetta Tharp's another awesome SG player. Just like another thing, too, I was always trying to figure out how to get Alice Cooper's early guitar tones, and they revealed like that the original guitarist that died, I think, like 10, 20 years ago for Alice Cooper.
Yeah, you had the S61 Custom.
Yeah.
That was SG. All over it. Yeah, you see it in all the videos. That was his number one. That was basically destroyed. They rebuilt that guitar not too long ago. I remember.
Yeah.
That was insane. Well, what was left of it, they
Uh,
used those parts to build a guitar, I should say, rather than they rebuilt it. Because
Yeah,
more was
'cause
missing than was what was left.
I was surprised because, like I said, they talked about that how much he actually tinkered with it, throwing different pickups in it and this
sure.
and that. And it was like, wow.
Well, there was new gear and old gear. There was no vintage gear. You know, once a guitar was 4 or 5 years old, think about it. They all used that nitro paint, so it was all checked. The finish is falling off. They look like crap. It's a cheap pawn shop guitar now. You know, so why not mess around with it? Route it, put different pickups. You know, whatever. I'll put electronics. It didn't matter. It wasn't until into the mid '70s when guys really started picking that stuff up. You know, and then by the late '70s, there was definitely a market for, again, older gear. It wasn't really vintage gear per se. And then by the '80s, it was considered vintage gear. Milt wasn't sure if I knew what. I just saw the last part of that comment. I'll scroll back. Hello, Richard.
Ben, wasn't sure if you knew.
I just went back 5 minutes and I see nothing. Not sure if I knew what.
Like, share, subscribe. Hey, Leo. And
Oh, yeah,
our
the kid from Australia, Mark. I've seen him. Yeah,
Les Paul's wife was a good guitar player. Yeah, Mary Ford. Amazing guitar player.
Yeah, she was awesome.
Almost,
I would say she was. I would say she was probably almost as good as Les Paul.
That's a bold statement.
Yeah,
I care to neither confirm nor deny that bold statement. I'll just carry on. We should probably wrap things up because we've gone well over. We still got 64 people watching, which is awesome. It'll be the last show until the new year. Before we wrap things up, coming up on the channel this week, we have a new Sody Pop tasting coming out Wednesday. She played a 61 Les Paul. No, she didn't play an SG. It was still Les Paul at the time. Ha ha. I know. Knows this stuff.
Triple pickup.
Triple pickup, cream with gold hardware. Not that I had the reissue of it, the Epiphone version. Had the headstock dive.
They did the reissues, yeah.
Keep it along. So, yeah, I've got I don't know, well, maybe something from the workbench for Friday. We'll see. I'd like to do something from the workbench this week. That way it'll be a bit longer. Maybe do another premiere. People seem to like the premieres. They're fun. So, on that, parting words, Terry. I was going to Tom first, so I figured I'd go Terry this time. More parting words from last night?
Other than have a great rest of the week into the new year and hope it's safe and happy time to then, and hopefully I hope for everyone to have a positive and great 2022.
There we are.
Oh, sorry.
Tom?
Everyone have a wonderful rest of the year, and have a safe new year if you're going out wherever, or if you're staying in, just have fun, but don't do anything stupid, and enjoy your.
See, all the questions are coming in now with the gear questions. Sure. Ask them next week. But I will say, what Teleneck, what other fender bodies does it fit on? Esquires. They're not the same as a Strat. One's rounded, one's straight.
Or you can get a Teleneck off, and then it looks like you have.
I don't know what offsets. They might even be a different scale length. I don't know what the hell is going on with them.
The weirdest to me though is the Tele Deluxe, because you have the headstock of a big headstock Strat on a Tele body, but with different pickups, and it's like.
Yep.
Okay. Yep. And then you can't make them anymore because the white humbuckers and That's about all I have.
All right, back to work with you, Ian.
Yeah.
Paul Leonard Ewing, good to see you. Yeah, so that's what's coming up this week. I don't know if there's a Guitar Town Hall this week. I don't know. I haven't talked to Dave. I'll figure. We do one, we do one. If we don't, we don't. We're not doing it in Canucks. I'll see Mark Taft tomorrow morning. He's coming over here to give me a hand around here and do some stuff. Cleaning, maintenance, all that. Oh, yeah. Never ends. Anyways, on that note, that's Tom. That's Terry. I'm Ben. I'm not even queued up. So hold those doors open. Let that lady in heady in traffic. Do good things, and good things will happen to you. No, I can't hear her up there because she was above Doug. 2 floors above Terry last night.
Yeah.
She's real. She is real. Doug knows. Doug brilliant. That's why Doug got paroled. Oh, look at that. Dale at the end. I get to say it for one live. Sweet. Yeah, so if you're new, please subscribe. Leave a thumbs up if you haven't already. And thanks everybody for all the support. Special thanks to the mods and members and patrons, sponsors. Everybody, it's been a great year. Let's look forward to 2022. It can't get any worse, can it? Nah, who knows? We'll see. I'm not going to say. That's tempting. Let's knock on the wood. Don't tempt anything. I'm glad you enjoyed it, Zoran. That's a cool name, Zoran. I do know. Zoran Horvat. That you sound like a superhero or possibly an alien. I like it.
That's a powerful sounding name. Yeah, it sure is.
Yeah. Now I'm rambling. So as always, where's that button again? Yeah, because I got to bring that up, and then we click there, and then we say, of course, don't litter.
See you, Marcus.
Oh, karma's real. Dale Palmer.
Karma is real. End quote.
Dale Palmer is real.
Doug. See you, Marcus.